What's up, everyone? This is another episode of Mrradillo's World. We are back with another Raiders offseason update. This is kind of turning into a Raiders podcast, and I'm not mad at it because I haven't just really felt like doing any other videos at the current moment, and I've just wanted to spend as much time with my son. But then news happens for the Raiders, and I'm like, I want to talk about that. So the big news that happened this week, at the beginning of the week, was Maxx Crosby's trade was pulled from the Ravens. He failed a physical. That's where failed a physical, even though they knew about the medical issues prior. But not 12 hours later, they signed Trey Hendrickson for less money, and they didn't have to trade their 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby. So, failed physical. Just funny thing, and it's funny about seeing all this spin, because that's truly what it is. It was that they had a deal in place because originally Trey Hendrickson was trying to seek like $40 million, right? But the market, once free agency hit, they seen that number. They're like, hey, we're going to trade for Max, $30 million, great player, 2 first-round picks, yada, yada, yada. Then free agency hits on Monday, right? And I'm sure there's some communication happening with Trey Hendrickson then or prior to that, knowing that figure. The market for Trey Hendrickson isn't as robust. So he was about to sign with the Colts, and then he started talking with the Ravens, and then literally they pulled the offer because they could get him for less money than what Max was paying and not have to give up the draft capital. Fine, they're right to do that. That's their franchise. But I think my issue comes with how they're looking at showing Max. Like, Max was the problem. Max was the problem because of his failed physical. Like, it's kind of a ludicrous, like, even aspect, because everyone's known. Something weird about that. I think my barber messed up my mustache right there. Well, anyways. So Max, like, everyone's known about that he just came out of surgery. He's a month out of surgery. And these physicals, they are just opinions from doctors. So take a doctor, whatever. But they're trying to spin it like there was a serious issue with we didn't like it. Look, no, it was the capital. It was the draft capital. You didn't like the cost that you were paying. If you would have just said that, I think this would have gone a lot smoother. But then we have Maxx Crosby actually saying that he is going to stay with the Raiders. And let me see if I can find that tweet and throw it up here. I have to search Maxx Crosby because I kind of unfollowed him. I guess I should follow him back. I unfollowed him because... Okay, so let me see if I can throw this up here. Streaming games. Whoa, the Matrix. So let's move you out of here, and then let's move you. We're going to talk about free agency too. But here is Max's tweet here. It is, everything happens for a reason. Believe nothing you hear and half what you say. I'm a Raider. I'm back. Run that bleep. Okay? And then he posts the picture of the Undertaker coming through a flaming door. So, Max, presumably at this current moment, is a Raider again. And I'm pumped about that. I think it'd be great if he did retire a Raider. And I'm all on board for that to be the plan. Now, we'll see if he does stay. I'm thinking he's going to stay because I think he's upset. And I think the Ravens probably did hurt his trade market just by making this medical issue when, like, it's not a secret that there was a medical procedure not even a month ago. So yes, he's not going to pass his physical. That's ridiculous. It's dumb. And like all these Ravens fans, oh no, they saved us. No, like, yes, your owner or GM made a shrewd business move. It was fine, but then you dirted a player to do it. That's where I think I have the issue with how they presented Maxx Crosby and even killing his value, really. But as we get closer to the new year, maybe the draft, hype happens quickly. So if Max starts posting videos of him like tearing it up in the offseason and people want to pay that price, I'm certainly fine. But we have been spending money like it's burning a hole in our pocket in free agency, and we're going to go over each of these free agents. I'm going to throw a little picture on, maybe do a little video of a couple of them just to kind of see what's going on and just kind of check it out. No sound, obviously, but we're gonna rock this. So let me get this set up and we're in the Matrix again. Oh snap. Oh snap. Okay. So let's look at our free agents. Here we go. So we have, let's start with the big one, Tyler Linderbaum. This was the big addition. We are securing our offensive line for presumably the first round draft pick of Fernando Mendoza. He's about to have his fortress, right? He's about to have Guantanamo Bay. Is that's probably not the great. That's a prison, yeah, for like terrorists or torture to happen. Yeah, that's probably not a great reference to offensive line. They're going to move Jackson Powers Johnson to guard. I was critical of Pete Carroll of moving him to guard because of who he put in center. He put someone who was a guard more naturally in center because he didn't like Jackson Power Johnson, which is fine. Like, that's fine. But then he was making Jackson Power Johnson compete for a position because his son, Brendan Carroll, whatever his that kid's name with the eyes, was trash at coaching. So he was competing for a spot over and over again when this kid obviously had the chops. You could see it on the field, but then he got hurt, and so that quickly ended it. But I'm excited and pumped that he's going to be at guard. I think the offensive line is actually better than we think it is. Like, Colton Miller is solid. Left guard, I'm not sure who we're going to put there at the current moment. I know center is obviously going to be Tyler Linderbaum. Then we have Jackson Powers Johnson at right guard. Maybe they shift him over to left guard. And then we have like Caleb Rogers. I think we have Charles Grant on tackle. And I think we have DJ Glaze as well. I don't know if we got rid of him or not. And I think there's one other offensive lineman that I'm missing. I just can't remember his name. But anyways, let's look at some highlights here. Let's look at this. Highlights. Bam. I don't know if you can hear this music. Okay, who is this? Okay, Tyler Linderbaum in the center. That's 64. Already getting to the second level. I'm loving it. That's what I want out of an offensive lineman. Who's a tough guy, moving 94. Boom, pancaked him. Love it, bro. I want my offensive linemen mean and tough. I want them to be dogs. I want some Richie Incognitos. You know what I mean? I want bullies. I want bullies to just trash people on the offensive line so Ashton Jeanty can get those yards. Ya mean? Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's pull the next one. Let's go back. Okay, so then we had let's go Nakobe Dean. I haven't seen this guy's highlights, but I'm excited about that. He is a linebacker. He's came from the Eagles, and I've seen a little bit of clips, but I haven't seen. How do you spell his name? How do you spell his name? Nakobe. There we go. Nakobe Dean highlights. It looks like he chose the Raiders over the Dallas Cowboys because he went with his gut. He went with that Raider Nation. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's watch this. We just want to get into this a little bit. Okay, I don't know if you can hear the sound or not, but you may. Ooh, is that number 17 right there? Okay, we got number 17. Here we go. This is what I like. Boom. I love defense. Obviously offense is dope, but I love a good hit, man. I want people to fear coming across the middle. I want actually them to like stop playing Nerf football. Ooh, look at that fumble. Boom. From Kobe Eugene, 1-7. I'm hype about these. Look at this. Here we go. Boom. Hit, dude. Kills that running back to make that fumble happen. Here we got 17. Blitzing again. Right to the quarterback. Boom. And then what happened too is he's from Georgia originally, and then we signed another linebacker that played with him in Georgia, which was Quay Walker. I've been hearing some people not like Quay Walker. I haven't watched him as closely. I stick with kind of the Raiders and some fantasy football. So I'm not like, I don't know these people extensively, and I need to be better at that, especially if I'm going to start talking about it. You know what I mean? Shout out to the highlight zone because they're killing it with these highlights already. All right, Quay Walker. See 7? Boom. About it. There we go. Quay Walker 7. Here we go. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to make myself bigger just in case, like, I don't want to get, like, in trouble. Okay, here we go. I like it. I'm already sold on these 2 linebackers. Look at that. Boom. Hits that running back. No stop. Just going to keep going in this pursuit, especially with Maxx Crosby. Like, I'm liking this defense. There's only been 3 guys that I'm talking about right now. Here we go. Boom. I don't know if that's the same highlight. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Well, it's Jacoby Brissett. I mean, let's be fair. Let's be fair. Here we go. Here we go. Does he have a coverage? Boom. Sold. Yeah, you sold me on that hit right there. Highlight zone, shout out. Shout out, highlight zone. Okay, then we have Kwity Paye, another defensive guy from the Colts. I like these guys' names. These names are like Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Kwity Paye. Like, that sounds pretty legit right there. How do you spell it? Kwity. K-W. Kwity! Kwity! Here we go. Highlight zone again. Highlight zone coming in clutch. Forced tackles. This is... Okay. Okay. Here we go. Who are we? I'm trying to figure out who Kwity Paye is. Is he 51? 97? Okay, he's 51. Look at that. I like it. I like the move. Him and Maxx Crosby, and then we signed... Okay, sorry. I'm getting excited. Boom. I'm sold. I'm sold. Okay, I'm not going to go with everyone because I don't want this video to be crazy long, but I'm going to talk about these. We re-signed Eric Stokes, and we re-signed Malcolm Kuntz, excuse me. But let's name these in order. So we have Connor Hayward. He was a fullback from Pittsburgh. Derek Young. Derek Young. I don't know how you say that kid's name. Looks like he was from Seattle. That's what it seems. Let's look at his bio. View bio. I thought it was just going to be a click. 2 reception. Career. Okay, so he was on the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, Derek Young. that's a spelling right there. Quay Walker, as we already talked about. Kwity Paye. Jalen Nailor. Actually, he put up some decent games in fantasy. Again, I didn't watch a lot of Minnesota Vikings football unless we were playing them, and I don't remember if we played them this year. But let's see, Jalen Nailor. Apparently, we signed another receiver. So 2 receivers, Derek Young and Jalen Nailor, to help solidify this receiver room. We lost Jacoby Myers, but we still have Jack Betch. We still have Trey Tucker. We still have Dante Thornton? I think it's Thornton. I don't know. I think we have another one too. I just can't remember. And then Matt Gay. Looks like we're going to cut our kicker. But we spent like over $280 million this offseason. Plus, we got Mad Maxx Crosby back. Let's do Max highlights. Is Highlight Zone gonna hook it up? Maxx Crosby. Yeah. All right, Highlight Zone. I want to watch some Maxx Crosby tape here. Whoo. Whoo. Look at that. Look at that. If we get him back, dude, like, I'm sold on this defense. Like, obviously, we there's still some pieces that we're probably going to need more. We're going to need still some more defensive pieces. We're going to need some more offensive pieces. But we also have the draft to look forward to. And I don't know if they're necessarily done. If Max is deciding to stay, maybe they look to restructure that contract. Maybe Colt Miller restructure contract to get a little bit more wiggle room in free agency, to maybe sign some additional players. But if we're done in free agency, I'm cool with that. Now focus on the draft. Get some more young guys in the building. We have a young team, and we may be Like, we may be a dog next year. I'm excited. I'm trying to tamper my expectations. I don't think we're going to go to the playoffs. Playoffs? But, like, we may be a sneaky good team and maybe do better than people expect. And if that's the case, and we draft Fernando Mendoza and he balls out, right? But they've talked about not getting, having like not have him start right away, having a veteran start in his place and then work him in slowly, kind of thing, which I'm fine with that. There's been talks about Kirk Cousins, and then there's been talks about, like, I think Derek Carr is trying to pitch himself to come back to the Raiders and just be that veteran QB for Fernando Mendoza, which I'm not mad at that. I know some people have some really bad hate for Carr. I love Carr. He represents the Raiders well. I just love someone who loves the Raiders. I don't know. I guess I have that old Raider mentality to bring everyone back, but also John Spytek and Clint Kubiak know what they're doing, and they're going to bring people in who basically will help the Raiders. And sometimes that's not former guys that left and then came back, right? A lot of times we would sign hype names, but they would be on the downhill of their contract. But not always. There were some that worked out. Like Warren Sapp was still Warren Sapp. He wasn't as dominant as he was with the Buccaneers, but he still was a beast up that middle. Randy Moss, we traded for him, and he just hated being here. It did not work out with Randy Moss, which is fine. Like, we didn't have the quarterback. We didn't have the team. We always want the best players because we want to be great. But sometimes it takes longer, and we got to build patiently. And I think that's hard for Raiders DNA because we've sucked so bad. Anyways, this is kind of my take on free agency. Excited, love what they're doing. Let's get this focus back. Hey. No, oh shoot, that was loud. Sorry. Anyways, I'm unfocused, so I'm gonna end it here. Oh, now I'm refocused. This has been another episode of Mrradillo's World. We'll see how this editing works. Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. Trying to tamper my expectations. I don't think we're a playoff team. We still have a lot of holes. We still need some help on defense. We still need some help on the defensive line. We still need some offensive line members. Probably another receiver. We need that franchise quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. But I am going to get hyped. I'm going to get hyped. Anyone saying that we're not drafting Fernando Mendoza don't know what they're talking about. Anyone talking about the Maxx Crosby situation, like, it sounds like a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. And I'm no expert. Like, I will admit that right off the bat. I don't know as much as others, right? There's some people that probably know scheme better. There's probably know, like, locker rooms better. Like, there's people that know things better than I do. However, there's just people blowing smoke. ESPN, man, what happened to y'all? I used to love watching SportsCenter. I used to wake up every single morning and put SportsCenter on. Now, dude, like, I don't even want to watch it. You have people on here that talk about anything but sports, and all they do is big takes so that they can get big clicks and get stupid revenue, bruh. Like, talk about sports. Go back to just talking about sports. That's really easy. I want to create a sports channel where we just talk about sports. That's why Pat McAfee's so popular. Homie just talks about sports. Like, yes, he talks junk about the Raiders sometimes, but I still love Pat McAfee. You know what I mean? He's a Colts guy. He's for the Colts. Like, good for them. Good for them. You know what I mean? I want to build a Pat McAfee lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, well, obviously I wasn't a punter or an athlete beyond like high school, right? But I want to just have a sports show, bruh. Like, that sounds legit. Like, maybe one day. Anyways, this is another episode of Mrradillo's World. Adios.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea with a rollicking song